So recently I installed the AOreo ROM on my Lenovo Z2 Plus. And since then, many of my friends and some of my subscribers who probably own a Lenovo Z2 Plus have asked me to do a review of this custom ROM. So in this video, I'll be covering the pros, the cons, and give you a short review of this custom ROM which I've been using since the last 5-6 days. So hi guys, I'm Vandit, you're watching Enter Planet, and let's get started. So just to give you guys a small review, a small perspective, if I were you, I wouldn't install this custom ROM, and I'll tell you why. Starting with the first and the biggest con of this custom ROM is a thumbprint scanner. So having a thumbprint scanner was always a fantasy for me, until I got this phone obviously. But this custom ROM, it makes me cringe about the thumbprint scanner itself, because it's so slow on this custom ROM that I simply feel that the pattern unlock is so much better. Sometimes it fails to register the thumbprint altogether, and when it does, it's slow to open. Now you have to keep in mind that prior to using this ROM, I was on MIUI 8 and that was far better than this one. Moving on to the next big con, it's the camera itself. Now a camera is something that we use on a daily basis, and for me as a small YouTuber, I use my smartphone camera to shoot videos, but this thing, it's bad. The camera on this custom ROM, it simply does not work out. Sometimes it does not open, and when it does, the UI is so damn bad that I simply cannot use it. The camera quality is not at all good, and as I simply told you that I was on MIUI 8 and which had a camera far better than this one. Not only the UI but also just the camera. Next up is small bugs here and there, but they don't annoy me that much, but I'll still mention them. So as I just showed you the settings, when you click on the search button, it does not work. And one big con is, or a big bug, is the VoLTE. So out of the box VoLTE does not work. I had to do a lot of research and I found some zip files which when flashed on my phone enabled me to use the VoLTE feature. Next up, and one of the biggest I would say, is the AOreo itself. Now one main feature of installing AOreo is to get the AOreo stock features, one of them being PIP, that's picture in picture, and some other AOreo features as well. But that picture in picture does not work at all, at least not on the app that you would want it to. The YouTube app, it does not work at all. But if I trigger up Chrome and try to play a video on any video streaming website, say for example YouTube, which is open by default, I press the button which I have mapped, then it works. But again, it does not work as it should. As you just saw, it should show the screen, but it's not showing the screen and it's flowy. Next we have the OK Google feature. Now even though Google Assistant is working perfectly fine, as it should, the OK Google functionality does not work. That basically means when I say the hot word OK Google, Google Assistant is not triggered. I went through the settings, did every bit of research I could, but I simply couldn't find a solution to this problem. Even though it worked on MIUI, which was on Android Marshmallow, it does not work on stock Android Oreo. That's a sad thing. Now this is the one which I hate the most, that is UTouch. On the bottom of a Lenovo Z2 Plus, you can find a single button which can be pressed, is used as a thumbprint scanner, and can be used to remap and perform many different actions. But to do so, you have to have a setting for that, and that is not present on this custom ROM that's based on AOreo. So it basically means that you have to enable the software keys, which definitely aren't enabled by default, so you have to enable them as well, that too after rooting your phone, and then you can't remap them. So basically the home button, it's useless. It's only useful for the thumbprint scanner functionality, and rest all for that you have to have the software keys, which I simply don't prefer. I prefer the hardware button, but I can't use it on this custom ROM, so I hate it to have this. Next up is the root thing. Now even though root was not enabled by default, I had to root my phone after following some tutorials which were not meant for my phone, but they did work. And after successfully rooting, some root apps, they simply don't work. They are not granted root permissions, they don't show a root pop-up, they don't show in the Super SU app, nothing. This happens rarely with very few apps, like the one I showed you, which was No Frills CPU, that's used for underclocking and overclocking, but it does happen. It does happen with some apps. So that's a bit annoying, and as I guys told you, I was on MIUI, and on that ROM it worked perfectly fine. Next up is RAM management, and that's a big con as well. So on a phone that has 3 gigs of RAM, you would expect it to have awesome, and if not awesome, then good RAM management. But on this custom ROM, the RAM management is not that good. It simply isn't like what it was on MIUI 8, which I installed on this phone. So nothing like awesome, excellent, not even good. It's below average, I would say. So RAM management is not that good. If you have made up your mind to not install this ROM, then you should wait some time. Cause there's not only the cons, there are some pros as well. The first pro being it's too damn stockish. It's what you would get on a Pixel 2 or a Pixel 2 XL nowadays, with only a pinch of functionalities which you can modify. As I just told you, in the settings, the ASCP extras, those were the only settings which you can tweak around. Otherwise, it's completely 100% stock Android. Next is a feature that not many of you will use, but if you do, then you definitely will be happy for having Oreo on your phone, and that is Substratum. So as we know, Substratum is a theming engine, and that thing works too damn good on this custom ROM. It basically has something to do with the Oreo operating system in general, and because this is based on Oreo, the Substratum thing works too damn well on this custom ROM. So that's basically it for this video, guys. If you like this video, then press the like button, subscribe button, leave your comments down in the comment section below. If you dare to subscribe, then enable notifications by pressing the notification bell icon, and if you hated this video, press the dislike button, but leave your comments again down in the comment section below. If you have any requests, anything, just leave your comments down in the comment section below. And bye bye now, have a nice day, and have a safe flashing procedure if you have not yet flashed this ROM and you're planning to do that. So bye bye now, have a nice day.